It's time for the insane, the honest, and the profane with your host, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. He doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
Do it better, better! Do it better, better! Never let it rest! Never let it rest! It's gonna get better! It's gonna get better! And you better get better! And you better get better! Bears on three! 1, 2, 3! Bears! Do it better, better! Do it better, better! Never let it
That's
rest!
my damn coach, baby.
It's better!
And right now he's saying that to his locker room after another W. And Fitz, I know you hate it.
I
I
don't.
know you don't like the fact that the Bears are winning because
I
it has 4
don't hate
turnovers
it.
today.
I don't hate it.
You hate it.
I do not hate it.
You were
It's a
complaining
Bears
to me the
victory.
entire game.
I was not. You were complaining a little bit too. I was not complaining to you the entire game. I was not the entire game.
All right, well, let's get down to it. Look, the Bears beat the Saints today. Bears again put up over 25 points. Bears again get another victory, their 4th victory in a row. For the first time, I can't remember the last time that the Bears won 4 straight games. Can you?
God, no. Probably in 2018. I think they probably did. I would imagine, seeing they lost the first game that year and they didn't lose a whole lot of games in the season. I think they went 12-4 that year, 2018.
That would be my guess too. Also, first time they've beat the Saints since 2008. So there's that.
At this point, it's weird. I believe Jeremiah over myself.
They win this
I
game
just believe Jeremiah is right and I'm wrong,
26-14.
which is weird.
And look, you look at this team, and wasn't the prettiest win in the world. I mean, there was some problems with the offense.
I want my
Drew
hour.
Dahlman. Drew Dahlman had a really bad day, especially in the red zone, in critical downs. That cost the Bears some yards. It cost the Bears some points, possibly. And, you know, some of the allowing Chris Olave on 2 straight possessions to be the only person open on a Saints offense is crazy when he's the only person on that offense that is worth a damn. And you leave him wide open and he has on 2 consecutive. So wasn't the pretty, but it was still a 12-point victory in the NFL. It was still a victory in the NFL. You look at teams that didn't have, there are a lot of teams that didn't have pretty wins today. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, I just listened to Jalen Hurts say the same thing. At the end of the day, if we go 12-5 and we win 12 ugly games, nobody's going to remember that the 12 wins were ugly. They were going to remember that we were 12-5.
Well, Jalen Hurts can say that when he goes 19 for 23 and has 3 touchdown passes. Jalen Hurts could say that. I mean, right? Is that who you said that? Am I wrong?
That is who said that. You're correct.
Yeah, he had a great game today. Our quarterback, the Bears quarterback, not too good against a team, and I could be wrong here, that has the 26th ranked passing defense.
Yeah. I mean, look, he was under pressure a ton. There was a lot of him trying to scramble around and make throws. He was not good today on throwing on the run. There was a lot of missed throws while on the run. But it watching this team play and watching this team win, and I agree with Jeremiah, I don't care how they win. I just care that they win. And if you want them to be the best offense in the National Football League in order for you to be happy with them winning, fine. That's how you feel to go about it. But I don't care how they win as long as they win. And 4 turnovers. Did you care? Let me ask you a question. When they were in the Super Bowl in 2006, did you care that was basically because the defense carried them to that Super Bowl? Did you care?
No, I didn't. But
Yeah, no, you don't. You don't care.
Possibly the best returner ever. They did have an offense that was very good for a little while, and I kept that up there just to say, yeah,
they did 4 games that year without scoring an offensive touchdown.
Yes, it's possible they did do that. You might be thinking of 2005, but they could have done that. Yeah, in 2006 they could have done that. But for 6 or 7, maybe even 8 games in a row, people were saying that Rex Grossman was going to win the MVP that year. If you don't remember, he was getting 2 to 3 touchdowns a game. He was passing very well. The offense was pretty good for a stretch. And they ran the ball really well, and the Bears are starting to run the ball really well. My problem is 4 field goals. My problem is trouble starting to happen in the red zone. My problem is you're not going to run like this on the Green Bay Packers. You're not going to run like this probably on the Detroit Lions, and you're definitely not going to run like this on the Minnesota Vikings. You're not going to. You haven't won a game in the division. You've beat 4 teams that are all going to have losing records at the end of the season. That's what you've done. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. This is what you have to do to make possibly the playoffs, which, I mean, I wouldn't even have. I asked, a month ago if there's any chance this team makes the playoffs, and everybody laughed on here. And now you could start actually thinking about that, especially with the way their schedule pieces out here. Even the Philadelphia game, Philadelphia doesn't look as formidable as they were last year, even though they beat the Minnesota Vikings do not look good, but their defense is pretty good. You need to have a quarterback that passes 65 to 70% completion rating. You can't have a guy under 60% in almost every game. Who throws the way he's throwing. That was a really bad interception. And there was a lot of other throws that were really bad. And we still have the problem that this team might not be talented enough, like as a base. I mean, you have a tight end that you got in the first round when you could have gone so many different other places. And you got a tight end that might not be able to play football, which is the sport that they're playing. Maybe he's good at lacrosse. I bet you Spencer Rattler's great at lacrosse. He looked like he could be a really good lacrosse player. Unfortunately, he's a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Now tell me where I was wrong in what I just said. And I could
I'm going to tell you where you're wrong in what you just said.
Okay.
When you started by saying there were times where people were saying Rex Grossman in 2006 was going to win MVP.
Yes,
nobody was saying that in 2000. No, there's no.
Yes, they were. People were saying that in 2006.
First of all, in 2006, Rex Grossman's passer rating was he completed 56% of his passes, and his passer rating, he had 5 games that year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games where his passer rating was under 20. 3 games where his passer rating was under 10.
Yeah, I know that. There was like the last game against the Packers where he was like really bad. I remember
that.
First
game versus the Packers. First game of the, the last game versus the Packers.
There's a 6 game. There's a 6 game series of games, 6, 7 games in the beginning of the season where he's really good. We're halfway through the season. Yes, people were saying he could be an MVP candidate, and then and yes, he was bad. But I mean, I just don't see how this is sustainable. That the Bears are going to get 4 turnovers every game, and they're going to play it well enough where this looks like a season where they could have taken it by the throat a little bit, and it looks like that's not going to happen because of some poor drafting and maybe a quarterback that has more troubles than I'm willing to admit yet.
But maybe
anything I said makes any sense.
And maybe you're right. Maybe it's not sustainable. Maybe this goes away in 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe this goes away next week against a Ravens team. But that's also a Ravens team that has a really bad defense. Yeah, they're getting Lamar back. That's a really bad Ravens team right now. And maybe it does change. And maybe all of a sudden the turnovers aren't there. But for right now, they are. So enjoy the moment that you're in, because for right now, especially in the National Football League, man, wins are hard to come by. You don't believe me? Ask the Dolphins. The Dolphins benched Tua today, mid-game, against the Browns. You got benched against the Browns. like that's how bad you are. So you have to understand that wins in this league are tough to come by, and the Bears have now won 4 straight games. And I'm going to enjoy the fact that they've won 4 straight games. I'm going. Do I think that this team is winning a Super Bowl? No. Do I still think that this team is a 9-win team? Yeah, probably. Do I think that they're a playoff team? Probably not. But if it does continue and this is sustainable, then we're going to be looking at a team that gets carried into the postseason by its defense. And I'm okay with that, because it takes a whole team. It takes things that they're doing. They are running the ball better. DeAndre Swift, all of a sudden, 2 straight 100-yard rushing games. He looked really good today. Kyle Monungai looked really good today. They're running the ball better. So they are doing some things well on offense. Now, Caleb hasn't been great. He just hasn't been. And you look at some of the things that he's doing right. Yes. Is there room for improvement? Yes. But I also think that they've got the right coaching staff to do this, to improve him, to make him be better than what he's been. As I just watched the Commanders get a safety on the Cowboys. There are, yeah. It's 7-2.
Cowboys, another team the Bears played.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: the offensive line is for the Bears.
It was bad today.
Well, they weren't great today, but they're much improved from what they were at the beginning of the season. I won't say they're great today. There was a lot of mistakes. Yes, Drew Dahlman can't hike the ball. I mean, whatever.
He's bad for a center.
He's got like Tourette's or something when he hikes the ball, or I don't know, a premature hiking. Ejaculation. I mean, but they're opening up holes, and there's been times where Caleb Williams is standing back there, and he's got some time. I mean, that's they are definitely much improved from what they were earlier in the season. Much improved from last season. Yes, Rex Grossman did have a 0 quarterback rating, and there wasn't 2 games that he was the MVP. For 2 games, he was an MVP candidate. But he did have a few games before that he was really good.
But there's also been a few games this year where Caleb's been really good, right? There's been a few games where Caleb's quarterback rating has been over 100. Like, so there has been some good along with this team. But the fact that this team, when one facet is not playing well, another facet picks it up. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I like. That's the defense right now playing out of their minds. Like nobody thought this defense was going to be this good.
Montez Sweat has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Has been pretty good the last 3 or 4 games. He's really starting the strip sack in the beginning of the game. And he was all over the place on the run game. That's really why you gave him his money, because he can do both. Not a lot of ends can do both like the way he can. Wins are wins. Thanks, John Madden.
I mean, it's not wrong. They scored more than their opponents, so that means they win.
Jonah Jackson, who I really railed against, and Dahlman are opening huge holes, need that chemistry. Yeah. I agree with them. I mean, the interior of the line is doing a lot better. And even though I got on Theo Benedict at the beginning of the show today, he seems to be at least better than Braxton Jones. I don't want to say a lot better yet, but at least better. He did have a couple of false starts today. Couple of weird penalties too today. Again, I'm sorry, I just don't see a whole lot against the opposing teams. I know I'm a little nuts, and maybe I'm just seeing it and I'm biased, but there are some penalties against the Bears that were just unreal. One against Colson Loveland.
Yeah.
And he had a couple penalties that he deserved, but he had one that he didn't, where it was another pass interference call that was, I don't know what. what they're seeing. The guy just fell down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then they had the roughing the quarterback where he just got tackled. He got tackled as he was throwing the ball, and they called the roughing the passer. And I'm like, guy, it's not like it was at first. I thought it was a fumble too. Not only that, I didn't even think it was a pass. I thought that it was I believe it was Edmonds forces the fumble, but as his hand comes down past the arm where he knocks the ball loose, his hand grazes the helmet, and they called the roughing the passer.
I just can't believe. I mean, I just can't believe. So I don't get it. I know they're trying to protect the head, I guess, but I mean, what are you going to do
between forcible contact and just incidental?
What are you going to do with your hand against someone's head that's in a helmet?
Yeah, you're going to break your hand before you do anything to the head.
It's a couple of the penalties I get, like when a defensive player like just jumps on top of a quarterback and tries to break his spine. Like I get those. They used and Ndamukong Suh used to do that all the time to Jay Cutler, like sometimes 3 times in a game and not get a penalty. So I get those penalties, but some of these I just don't get. There's too many penalties. It's kind of it's a nightmare. It's kind of like you're like a lot of these players are living in a police state where they're trying to get these people arrested and thrown in prison for jaywalking. It's just there's too many rules. Refs are really dumb. I mean, just really bad at their job. I mean, you also have the play where Dahlman keeps the ball, and I guess Caleb touches it kind of on that play on the goal line. I don't know if everybody saw it.
You can't hand it back to the center, though. Like, that's not – I mean, it should have been a penalty.
Can Caleb grab the ball and then hand it back to the center? No. Or does he have to be eligible downfield or something like that?
Yeah, it would be you can't do that. It's not a legal play. And here's the thing is when you miss calls like that, the other thing is I don't know how nobody on the Bears coaching staff says anything to the refs. Now maybe they're just like, screw it, chalk it up, let's get this. We're gonna kick a field goal anyway. We'd rather have it be closer than further back. But I just don't know why you're not saying anything if you're the coaching staff. But the referees have been, I mean, it's bad, but it's bad all the way around, man. You could watch that in any game. Watch any game. Why I've got 2 of them on right now. I've got the Cowboys and the Commanders and the Packers and the Cardinals on right now. You could watch this game, and I guarantee you, if I sat there and watched closely enough, I'd be like, why are they calling that? What is that call? There's a call in the Chiefs game last week. There was a call in Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. I was like, what the hell? What are you doing?
If you watch closely enough, you don't even have to watch close enough to watch Jordan Love almost throw another pick.
Yeah.
Watch how overrated he is.
Now, you said something to me during the game about Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
That you're not quite sure if Colston Loveland can play football. Now, I'm still the jury's still out on him. But
I agree.
I'm getting closer and closer to admitting that was a bad pick, especially when I keep watching Tyler Warren week after week lead tight ends in fantasy points, catches, receiving yards, touchdowns, and all of the above. It's really tough to do that. Now, here's my question with Colston Loveland, and then I'll let you go and I'll let you explain. My question for you is, was this a pick by, do you put this on Ben Johnson or do you put this on Ryan Poles? Because when the pick was made, we thought it was a Ben Johnson pick. That's what we thought. We gave him kudos for letting Ben Johnson make the pick. But now who are we putting it on now?
Who's in charge then? If we don't know who's it on, if it's on Ben Johnson, then I don't know who's in charge of the team. which should be the GM. And that's a problem with your team when no one knows who's in charge. That's a bad organization. You want to know why I know this? Because this is what happens with the White Sox every single season. You got Tony La Russa out at spring training saying who's a good pitcher, who's a good bat, who's good at this, who's good at that. And Chris Getz is out there, and then you got Will Venable, and then you don't know who the hell is in trouble, who's in charge of the roster, who's in charge of managing. Like, you don't know. And it's like it's got to be the GM's pick in the end.
Yeah, but weren't we giving him
Tyler Warren? I thought Tyler Warren just got a touchdown, but it wasn't Tyler Warren. Sorry, it's Pittman.
It's Pittman. Didn't we after the draft? And I know I did for sure, but I gave Poles credit, and I thought that you did too, for allowing Ben Johnson and being like, "Hey, you went to Ben Johnson. You said, hey, who do you want?" And Ben Johnson said, "Give me Colston Loveland." After you missed out on the tackles because they were all taken.
Still doesn't, to me, that doesn't just give Ryan Poles a pass. What about the other 36 draft picks? What about getting Christopher Burden afterwards, who does not look like a special player? If you're going to take a wide receiver after Colston Loveland, I want a special. I want him to be special. He does not look special in this league. He looks small. He doesn't look really fast. He doesn't look like I thought he might look from some of the highlights I saw of him at Missouri. He doesn't look that good. I'm not sure Ryan Poles has ever made a draft pick. Maybe he hasn't, because he certainly blames it on a lot of people. Like, I mean, I don't know why you extended this guy. I don't know why you just didn't go out and get a new GM. There's no reason why you had to keep this GM. The only thing he does is maybe stack some pretty good draft picks, and he's pretty good at the salary cap. The only reason why he's pretty good at the salary cap because he didn't keep good players. Montgomery and Detroit.
Burden does look good, but he doesn't see the field a lot. And not only that, but when he does see the field, they're using him on end arounds, reverses, and pitches out of the backfield. They're not allowing, like, because they do have a lot of wide receivers right now. Their wide receiver depth is pretty damn good. And we haven't been able to say that a ton, but when you have, a guy like Roma Dunze, and then you got Zacchaeus, who has been pretty damn good early in the season too, and has been a favorite target for Caleb after Rome. It's tough to say, right? And I think Burden can be something. I still think, Loveland, we're 7 games into the season. He's been hurt for half of them. Like, I don't think we've been able to see
He
what
has not
Loveland
been
can
hurt
do
for
yet.
half of them, has he?
I think he's only played 4 games this year.
Bill Stewart says, leave the White Sox dysfunction out of it. Their issues exceed the Bears. I actually disagree. The White Sox had 2 playoffs in the last 10 years. The White Sox have 2 winning teams in the last 10 years. The Bears have 1 in it's over 10 years. It's like 12 or 13 years.
The Bears have 2 playoff appearances.
Oh, yes. They had that playoff appearance when they went 8-8.
Yep.
Big freaking deal. They weren't a winning team. They went 8-8.
But they still had a playoff appearance.
Okay. Yes. They have 1 winning team. I'm sorry. They have 1 winning team in the last 12 or 13 years. The White Sox, I'm sorry, have more. They just do.
Yeah. I think right now, I think that the White Sox issues exceed the Bears, because I think that the Bears have started to fix their issues. I don't know that the White Sox are going to come close to that. So we'll argue about this on another show. Maybe we'll save this for next week. But I think that the Bears are closer to solving these issues, because I think that they're on in every facet of the game, they are finding ways to win. I think when the defense isn't good, the offense has found a way to win. And it's been a fun thing to watch over the last 4 weeks. I mean, if you don't blow that game to Minnesota week 1,
Yeah.
that 17 to whatever 6 lead that you had going into the fourth quarter, the defense doesn't blow that. I mean, we're really talking about a different team right now, instead of 4-2 being 5-1. But as it sits, Bears are 4-2. They are heading to Baltimore for 2 straight road games with the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, when the season started, we had talked about this being a gauntlet, and how the hell are the Bears going to get through this set of games? But now, with the struggles of the Ravens, Lamar will be back next week. Lamar will play next week. So they get Lamar back, but with that defense that has been brutal. And now you get them, and then you get Cincinnati with no Joe Burrow. All of a sudden, this is a different schedule. Did the Bears maybe get caught looking ahead this week? Looking past the Saints?
No, I mean, I
Can you
don't
say that
think
definitively, because you said that quick.
I don't think so. I mean, they did win the game, but it's going to be a tough game against the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry. That's going to be a tough game. And now that Joe Flacco's playing with the Bengals and you got those 2 wide receivers out there, that's a scary matchup for the Bears. I mean, I know the Bengals defense isn't very good either. But you just went against a bad defense and you didn't really do that good. If you didn't have 4 turnovers, what would have happened in this game? You're probably winning a squeaker against the Saints.
Well, that's why I said they get ready. Did they get caught looking ahead? Because, I mean, no doubt the next 2 weeks you're going to have to win this game by scoring points. You're going to have to win by putting 25 to 30 points on the board, because both of these other offenses, no matter how good your defense is playing, is capable of putting up 25 to 30 points. So you're going to have to play much better, and you're going to have to execute much better on the offensive side of the football, especially on the passing side, especially with Caleb Williams. He's going to have to be better over the next 2 weeks. I just wonder if they went into this game against the Saints, looked at the Saints team that is bad on all levels, with the exception of Chris Olave and maybe Chase Young coming off the edge. I don't know that maybe they didn't just get caught with their pants down, looking ahead a week ahead, and just kind of went out there figuring they were just going to walk all over this team and looked bad. It happens.
This show sucks. You guys are so depressing. Shut up, Megan TV. How
There's
about
only
that?
one of us that's depressing.
I'm
And
not being
It's
depressed.
this guy who
What am I
doesn't
supposed
enjoy
to
wins.
come on here and say they're going to win the Super Bowl with that
Yes.
slop? I have to be at least honest to what I see. That was a sloppy passing game. Yes, the running game was great. I already said that. And that really helps. Putting all that on tape hopefully opens up the passing game. If your quarterback can throw accurately, which he has shown time and time again, he cannot do. And Downing Thomas did say if either of you were Jim Ham, we'd still be running out Justin Fields. I mean, I don't know that 100%, but that's a possibility. And that would have been dumb. I agree. And then Jeremiah says, I want to hear Fitz a bit that Kyler Gordon is an impact player. Okay. Kyler Gordon is good at a position that is like the 10th most important position in football, or the 12th. He's not Micah Parsons. He's not Max Crosby. He's not these guys that really impact the game on defense. I'm sorry to keep saying this to you, Jeremiah. They will not draft guys who are important to what I mean. And yes, if Theo Bennett works out, that's great. But they will have, and Aikman said it, the Bears would have gotten lucky getting Theo Bennett. Not being able to draft impact players is a real impact players that impact from their position. They don't impact the team when they're out of position and have to blitz and then leave one last guy back in coverage. I mean, he's an impact player, but every time he blitzes, there's a liability in the back. In the defensive backfield, right? No, wrong.
Well, I mean, sure, that's always the issue when you blitz. Whenever you blitz, you're bringing up defenders that should be in the back in the secondary, and you're bringing them up and you're putting them. It's always the case. Yes, you get shorthanded when you start.
I agree, but I want at least to have some pressure for my front four.
You got that today.
Name somebody that this GM has drafted on either line that has been what he calls an impact player.
Oh, you're talking about drafting. I mean, that's completely
well,
different.
They drafted Kyler Gordon, and I can go back and dig up who they drafted Kyler Gordon over. Or because I'm guessing I think it was an impact player. I think it was either a right or left tackle. I mean, I'm sorry. Yes, false. The slot corner is one of the premier positions in football. Against what position, Jeremiah? Against an edge rusher? Against a left tackle? Against a quarterback? Against how many positions do I have to pick before we get to your premium slot corner position, Jeremiah? How many different positions do we have to go through in the football field that I think is more premium? Right now, I think having a backup running back would be more premium than a fucking slot corner. Sorry. Damn. Well,
well, it's been fun, Chicagoland Sports Radio.
Do we have a dump button?
No. But look, I'm enjoying Jeremiah pushing your buttons and getting you going. I mean, it's
Bill Stewart. Gordon is good at blitzing, but ideally you want pressure from the front four.
Yes, but you got that today, is what I'm saying. Now, if you're talking about, they haven't drafted anybody to do that, sure, you know what I mean. But there's probably a few teams in this league that you can go to that have put together. Let me ask you a question. If this same Bears team right now with the same record and the same style of play and they're doing everything that they're doing, but you put them in Chiefs uniforms, are you still concerned about the way that they're winning, or do you think that this is a good football team?
I mean, I don't know. I had problems with the Chiefs last year. I didn't think they should have been in the Super Bowl. I think they got a lot of favorable calls to get into a Super Bowl that ended up being a clunker because you had about 2 or 3, maybe even 3 better teams in the AFC last year than the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe even more. Maybe even the Bengals. If you put the Bengals in there, there's 4 teams. And they somehow, by luck, just kept winning games. People and everybody's like, oh, yeah. I mean, the penalties against the Texans in that first round game were malpractice.
Yeah.
Houston Texans. Or the Houston Texans probably win that game. And the Chiefs are out of it. And we probably have a much better NFL playoffs last year. At least aesthetically pleasing. But probably better games all the way through.
So, and here's my point, because I think that the issue, because I correct me if I'm wrong, but anybody who's watching right now, if you didn't know the score of the game today, would you think that the Bears won or lost?
Come on, I'm giving them credit for what they've done well.
But I'm just saying, I don't think. I think your Bears fandom. And I look, I'm guilty of this sometimes too.
I actually disagree with you. I don't think that's it. You got 4 turnovers against one of the worst teams in the league. And yeah, you beat them pretty well, I guess. I mean,
well, you guess they're up 20-0. They got 2. They did put the ball in the end zone 2 times on.
It was mostly a 1-score game for the last half of the game. I mean, mostly.
Not really. I mean, this game wasn't as close as it seemed, I don't think. I know, yeah, I think the Bears took the foot off the gas, especially at the end of the first half, and allowed that first score. And then in the second half, the Saints came out, and the Bears kind of sort of did the same thing. But then as soon as that happened, the Bears like, all right, let's play football again. And that's the problem that I had with the team. Can we get back to, I even tweeted it out at one point. Dennis Allen, can we please get back to sustaining pressure? Because that's when this Bears team was dominating the Saints team the way that they should have dominated the Saints team. And they got back to that. Now, look, the offense didn't do as well as I would have liked them to, only putting up 2 field goals in the second half. Yes. Can they be better in certain assets? Yes. But a win is a win in this league, man. And we'll talk about like the drafts and the missed picks. And we'll talk about all that stuff.
Speaking of drafts, Tyler Warren just got a TD. Speaking of drafts.
Yeah. I that's fine for me because he's on my fantasy team.
Wow.
Well, see, I'm a good GM. I actually drafted him. So for me personally, when I'm looking at this team, it's the same way I went at the Cubs team. You go at this team, and sure, could they have done things that I wanted them to do differently? Sure. Could they have done things at the deadline, the Cubs? Sure. But now you have to go at it with what you have on your roster. And that's what the Bears are doing. They're going at it with what they have on their roster, and they're doing a pretty damn good job of it right now. And that's where I'm at with the Bears. We can sit here all day long and Kyler Gordon wouldn't have to blitz if they would have drafted this guy, and they wouldn't have to do this if they would have drafted this guy. And if we would have drafted a running back, maybe we'd have a better run game. You could do all of that. But now you have to go with what's on your roster and what you have moving forward. And so that's where you're at with the Bears. I still think this is a good team, man. I not a great team, maybe not even a really good team, but a good team. A team that's going to have something to build on over the next 5 years. And then they'll be a really good team in the next year, maybe the year. A team that's going to be constantly competing for playoff spots and maybe even an NFC crown. That's what I think this team is. That I didn't go into this year, and I know you didn't go into this year thinking that this team was going to be a juggernaut. We didn't go into this year thinking this team was going to win a Super Bowl. So this year was about growth. This year was about seeing what they could do, seeing what Ben Johnson brings to the table, seeing what certain players you have, seeing what holes you have to fill in this upcoming offseason. And they're doing all of that, but now they're doing all of that and winning football games. And that's fun. Not for you, but for me.
I look, I had fun watching the Raiders game. I had fun watching last week's game. I did not have a whole lot of fun watching this game. I mean, I just didn't. I thought if you won the turnover battle 4-1, I just thought you should have played a little bit better. I want to see an advancement. I mean, I saw a running game that was really good. Yeah, it's good to see that again, and hopefully they can be consistent there, but I don't know. I didn't see a lot of improvement in the team, and I'm not seeing a lot of improvement in Caleb Williams. And Doubting Thomas is right. They ran the ball, so they didn't have to pass as much. They were ahead a lot, so you don't have to pass as much. Someone get this man a brown bag breathing. I'm fine. I'm perfectly calm.
I like Bill Stewart's comment. The Bears need to improve. If not, they're going to be dog walked by division teams. Beating lesser teams or teams starting a backup quarterback is what they should do. I agree with that. They do have some things to do to be able to beat teams like the Green Bay Packers, like the Detroit Lions, like the Minnesota Vikings, because in the end, that's what matters, right? Beating teams within your division, so that's how you win a division. And right now, I would say they're better than the Vikings, but I would not say they're better than the Lions or the Green Bay Packers. But they can continue to get better, and they can find ways to beat those teams. Will it be pretty? Maybe not. But we'll still enjoy it if they do. It's fun, but is it sustainable? We don't know. Good question. I mean, we'll find out. I mean, look, there's been how many times over
turnovers
the years,
a game is it sustainable? I'll tell you that.
How many times over the years have we been like, man, I don't know if this defense can play like this all year long, and then they just do. I mean, it's just kind of what the Bears have been their entire existence. It's a team built off of defense. And this defense is really, really good, man.
They are playing better now that they've gotten, should I call
Kyler Gordon back, the impact player?
Brisket? Should I call him Brisket? Brisker and Kyler Gordon. And, Jalen Johnson might still come back. I know he was on, I think The Score. It could have been ESPN, and saying that he's expecting to be back this season, which that would be pretty huge.
They're targeting late November, early December for him to come back. Now, if you're a team that's in position and maybe have a chance at a playoff spot, yeah, you bring him back. But if this is a team that at that point, let's say they're 4-2 now, so let's say they're 7-5. Do you bring them back, or do you just wait till next year? Because does Jalen Johnson make this team a Super Bowl team? Because that's the way I think about it. Like, if I'm talking about players' health, an impact player's health, like a guy who is really, really good,
you might make him a playoff team. And you want to make a playoff. You want your young quarterback to be in a playoff game. You want these guys to be in a playoff game. And these guys want those bonuses. I mean, yeah, you bring them back. I think you for sure bring them back. Doubting Thomas, Ravens -6.5.
Yeah.
Jackson back.
Yeah, that's what it opened up as last. It opened up on Thursday, I think, when they put it out for the following week. I would take the Bears +6.5 against that defense. I mean, look, Lamar Jackson is back, sure. But Lamar Jackson's also prone to interceptions and fumbles. He has been his entire career.
He has. I will agree with that.
I mean, you could continue this, and that's then when you go to Cincinnati, yeah, it's Joe Flacco, and yeah, it's those wide receivers. But I mean, you watched it against the Steelers. That offensive line for the Bengals is not very good. Yeah, they end up winning that game. But it's also because the Pittsburgh Steelers defense isn't very good.
So against the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, the Bears will need 8 turnovers. Is that what you're saying? The Bears will have to have 8 turnovers to beat the Ravens. How many turnovers will they need when they face the Eagles?
I think 2 is your goal every week. If you can create 2 turnovers every week, you should be in a good position. Now, when you get the weeks that you have 3 or you have 4, great. But I mean, do you think that I mean, like, I don't know, like I just can't think about like, oh, they're only winning because they're getting these turnovers. You still have to capitalize off of them.
They have gotten at least scores.
Yes.
I mean, 4 field goals today. They did get 2 touchdowns. They have at least get scores, and what Ben Johnson at least does, there hasn't been a lot of things at the edges that you can criticize him for, like, oh, poor clock management, or oh, I wouldn't have done this here at the end of the game or at the goal line in certain situations. There hasn't been a whole lot of that I've seen, and that's been good. At least they get the points when the points are there to get. And there's never really a stupid play where they're out of field goal range. It does happen, but it happens
to a couple of times where he's gone for it on 4th down where I was like, man, I wish you would have just taken the point. Like that Raiders game is not as close if you just take the points in that first half where they went for it on 4th down, could have just taken the field goal, and instead, they end up, I believe it was a fumble by Caleb, or it was a fumble. It was a problem with the snap or something, of course. I still think that this team has some things to clean up, man. But I like the way that they're playing football right now, and it's fun.
I guess I'll ask this question. That's sort of a takeoff on Bill Stewart's question. Is Ben Johnson more sustainable than Matt Nagy?
Well, yeah.
Matt Nagy might get another job, by the way.
Dude,
Matt Nagy might be the next Tennessee Titans coach. Everyone out there who hasn't seen that headline.
They're going to get worse. Speaking of getting worse, just give you guys a little bit of heads up around the league while you're watching us. I'm sure you guys got football on in the background, but you got the Giants beating the Broncos right now, 13-0, and there's 6 minutes to go in the second quarter in that game. You've got the Colts up 20-3 on the Chargers. in the second quarter of that game. I at this point, I just have to admit I was wrong about the Colts, and this Colts team is actually good.
Yeah, it's tough. Best offense in the league, best team in the AFC right now is your Indianapolis Colts. Do you think they should put Anthony Richardson back in there at this point?
I mean, if they want to get worse, sure.
No. Yeah, I mean, pretty good. Man, but the Bears, I can't. All right, I'm not going to say it because you guys say I'm depressing. But if the Bears do draft Tyler Warren and Cam Scatterboo, where are they right now for you?
6-0. 6-0. Yeah, I mean, because look, you might not have the problems you had at the beginning of the year with the run game, but at the same time, look, man, you should have beat the Minnesota Vikings. The defense let that game go. They're up 17-6 in the fourth quarter with a rookie quarterback who can't throw a forward pass at the time, and you let him come back and you let him beat you. Now the second game against Detroit, look, Detroit just went out there and whooped Ben Johnson's ass, and that's what they wanted to do, and they did it, and pretty easily. So I don't think it mattered. They probably lose that game too, so maybe they're 5-1 instead of 6-0. But
I think they're a better team now. That's one bright spot for sure. They're a much better team, it seems now, in some key areas. Like I said before, I don't think Dennis Allen knew kind of what defense he had and wasn't blitzing the way he is now. He obviously, like Jeremiah said, there was a couple of guys on defense that were hurt back then that were some impact players, I guess. Yeah, the Cardinals Packers game tied 3-3. There you go, Jordan Love.
Yeah, I told that's what scares me. Like I picked the Packers, and I gave up the points. But what scares me about it is that LaFleur does not coach this team to beat the hell out of teams like this, and they should be beating the hell out of teams like this. You got Jacoby Brissett under center. You love
Jacoby Brisker.
It should be consistent pressure. It should be nonstop blitzing. It should be go ahead and find somebody that can beat us within the 3 seconds it's going to take for us to get to you. Like that's what it should be. And then it should be on the offensive side. We should be running the ball down their throat with Josh Jacobs. You should be able to, if Jordan Love is that guy, Jordan Love should be able to pass all over this defense. The Arizona Cardinals defense is not very good. But that's just not the style of football that the Packers play. They don't play to destroy their opponent, which drives me nuts.
Micah Parsons has a sack already.
Yeah. Yep.
And the Arizona Cardinals are driving. They got one play minus 4 yards. So far, here it comes. Yeah. Jacoby Brisker.
Biggest disappointment of the day, probably the Jets, right? I mean, they lose that game to the Panthers 13-6. And everybody, like a lot of people, Ryan Horvath, who had me on him as well, because of how hard he was going at the Jets, and he's usually pretty damn good at this type of stuff. He loved the Jets coming into this game. So I thought they were going to have a better game too, especially against Carolina. That's Carolina's first win on the road, and now they're 4-3.
Yeah, Carolina 4-3. Somehow, some way, after a couple clunkers, they're 4-3. 13-6 they win by. I mean, I don't know. I probably still would take the Jets if they said that they would only give up 13 points. Tyrod Taylor finishes off the game. I don't know. I mean, the Jets offense is just terrible. I mean, they haven't had a good offense in years at all. Not even that. I mean, you can look at the Jets and you can look at the Browns, which I say the Bears, Jets, and Browns are all the same team. I do believe that the same organization controls all three teams, but at least the Bears are better off than those two teams.
I was right about Quinshon Judkins. He had a big day against the Miami Dolphins, 3 touchdowns, 84 yards rushing, and the Browns stomped a hole in the Dolphins 31-6. Mike McDaniel he's got it. I can't imagine he makes it past tomorrow as the head coach there. And they benched Tua. So there's that. Patriots beat the Titans by 18, 31-13. Chiefs 31-0 over the Raiders. My best bet of the day was Patrick Mahomes to throw 3+ touchdowns, 286 yards, 3 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. And then the Eagles 28-22 over the Vikings. They could not put the Vikings away. Vikings just kept coming back in that damn game. But that's how the league went. Right now, you got the Colts over the Chargers 20-3, Cowboys over the Commanders 17-8, and the Packers and the Cardinals, as we just mentioned, tied at 3. Falcons and Niners tonight, doubleheader. Monday Night Football tomorrow. Sir, are you ready to get out of here?
I'm ready to get out of here. I think Micah Parsons just had another sack.
Of course he did. Yeah. Couldn't have given it to the Bears, Jerry. Couldn't have given it to the Bears. All right. Till next week.
Lion store?
Same bat time. Same bat channel. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your enemies. Have a good one.